lot for joining us here on CNN News 18. I'm Shivani Gupta, joining you from outside the Narendra Modi Stadium. And it's been a splendid bowling performance for Team India versus Pakistan in this mega battle. The battles of all battles. From 155 for 2, the Pakistani lineup, the famed lineup that has obviously been off colour, was actually reduced to 191 all out. They lost 5 wickets in the space of 16 runs and just about 5 overs. And then from there on, it was an uphill task to even finish their allotted 50 overs. So this is going to be possibly an easy win for India, 191. Yes, this pitch was not a 300 plus score pitch, but it was certainly not a 191 pitch either. The target for India is going to be a very, very comfortable 192. I'm joined by Mohinder Amarnath, Venkatesh Prasad. Also with me is Ayaz Memon, senior journalist. Murli Karthik is also with us. Let me first go across to Venki. Venki, those overs from Bumrah, magical stuff from Jasprit Bumrah, showing once again just why he's the #1 bowler really, why everyone finds it hard to play him. It was Bumrah, of course, there was Kuldeep Yadav in the mix, there was Siraj in the mix, and within no time, Pakistan were reduced to 171 for 7 after being 155 for 2 within a space of 5 overs. What a spell for India. But a word about Jasprit Bumrah first up.
Well, honestly speaking, it was to begin with, the toss was went in favor of for Rohit Sharma. There was a good call fielding, and then I think the bowlers responded superbly well, Shivani. In fact, there was no magic in that bowling. It's just that they stuck to good line and length, stuck to bowling stump to stump. There was extremely good discipline from the Indian bowlers. Of course, the first to strike was Siraj, of course, getting the century, who scored a century, Abdullah, I guess, Shafiq, yeah, you're right. So that was the first wicket fall, and later on, I think there was a bit of partnership between these two, Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan, which was expected of Pakistan. But then what an amazing bowling performance. I think we need to give credit to Rohit Sharma as well here for his captaincy, for his, rotating the bowlers. I think he brought in the bowlers at the right time. And every bowler, I think they responded superbly well by picking up wickets. Yeah, they were on course, honestly speaking. Pakistan 5 for 3, that was the third wicket, fell at 155. Babar Azam was bowled by Siraj. And from there onwards, I think still they could have made it to say about 260, maybe at the most, if not 280 or 300. I guess, none of the batters in the top 4 who got the starts couldn't convert their starts. I think that was a big letdown as far as Pakistan is concerned. But hats off to the bowlers. They have done it second time. Once against Australia, restricting them under 200, and now 191. I think it was a fantastic bowling performance from the Indian bowlers.
Absolutely. And Kuldeep Yadav, how threatening did he look? Kuldeep Yadav, Siraj, Bumrah. There is obviously Pandya amongst wickets. Jadeja kept the bowling very, very tight, Karthik. He might not have picked up wickets, but he kept the runs really, really tight, built up the pressure, and that is exactly what he's known for. Barring Shardul Thakur, of course, the rest of the entire top-line bowling effort was there to see today.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been saying this, haven't we, that India hardly have any frailties or weaknesses. Yes, you can always question whether Shardul was the right choice today. And that can happen till the cows come home, because we've got the quality of Shami or Ashwin or whoever you want to pick as an ideal fifth bowler with Hardik Pandya there. But having said that, it's a well-oiled machinery. All the bowlers are bowling fine, and it's not about wickets alone. Sometimes you go in wanting to bowl to your best, and that's exactly what they all try and do. When you look at 155 for 2, Pakistan weren't going anywhere, in the sense that India was still trying to fight hard, and it was just waiting for that one breakthrough, which Siraj got. And after that, just the floodgates opened, and that's where you cash in. That's where, as a unit, you smell blood, and then you start really tightening the screws, and that's exactly what everyone did. Kuldeep Yadav, you mentioned, Shivani, he's been bowling beautifully. And he's been bowling beautifully. The reason I say that is he knows what he wants to do. He's got all the variations, but he knows where to bowl them, how to use them. Again, as a spin bowler, you're always plotting your way around, even in a 50-over game, and he's been doing that really nicely.
Jimmy Paji, your thoughts? This Pakistani batting lineup had 2 centurions from the last match. Rizwan got a 49 today, but he seemed to be struggling quite a bit today. Didn't really look like a centurion from the last match. Babar got some runs, he got a half century, but once he got out, the floodgates opened.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the key player for Pakistan was Babar Azam, actually. As long as he was there, he was controlling the inning. And the run were coming, quite nicely and all that. When you have average of 4 runs and over a plus with just 2 wickets and down. So I thought it was a good display of batting. And so once Babar got out, I think they didn't have another player to take his place. So this was important from Pakistan point of view, to somebody to carry on till the 50th over or whatever number of overs they batted. So it didn't happen. So they were all, I think, have a poor technique. Probably they don't read the spinners. This is what I feel. And Kuldeep Yadav, I think he's been fantastic. He has got a lot of variation. The good thing, I think, Indian spinner Jadeja and Kuldeep, they bowl stump to stump. And when you pick up wickets and already the team is under pressure, the new batsmen, I didn't see much of a technique over there. To be very honest, I think the way they played, the way they got out of certain strokes, it reminded me of 2020 over cricket, not 50 overs cricket. So I think they didn't have the depth against a quality Indian bowling, where Bumrah was fantastic, Pandya did his job and everybody, and I think the spin department of Jadeja and Kuldeep put the brakes on Pakistani, because once the runs were not coming and they're not used, they don't have the temperament to just carry on from take single. They just want to go for big hits and all that. So it doesn't work in 50 overs cricket. So I think they were exposed, and so they were bowled out over 91. So I think it's an opportunity for India to just take their own time and thus win this match comfortably.
Ayaz is also with me. Ayaz, from 155 for 2, it just was an absolute collapse.
Collapso,
Yeah.
as they say in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, Shivani, I haven't seen a more faint-hearted batting performance by Pakistan ever.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been one-sided matches and they've obviously fared poorly in the past. In the World Cup, for instance, they haven't won a single match against India. But this kind of batting, even when Rizwan and Babar were together, batted almost 22, 23 overs, put up a long partnership, spent a lot of time in the middle, they never looked authoritative.
Yes.
They never.
Rizwan
India were
actually
always
to me looked a little bit uncomfortable.
India were dictating terms even when these two guys were making runs, a
Yeah.
half century and 49. So it needed a breakthrough for India, which they got through Babar, and then they fell like a deck of cards.
Back of
Pack
us. But what
yeah.
super bowling performance. Siraj,
absolutely.
Bumrah, Kuldeep, three strike bowlers were really
Without
all there.
exception. I think Bumrah for me was the pick.
Yeah.
The way he bowled, and Siraj of course got a couple of vital wickets.
He actually got the first wicket, then he got to Babar Azam as well.
But I thought that the spinners in the middle,
Really
when these two
kept
guys,
it
when this partnership was going strong, that's when the pressure had to be by increased by not conceding runs, which is what Jadeja and Kuldeep did. They bowled excellently in that phase where these two guys could have actually, had they been a little more adventurous, had they been a little more positive, they could have scored more runs and shifted the pressure back onto India, which they didn't do. And I thought I thought Rohit was quite superb in his captaincy, and the DRS he took to get that decision in his favour was, it just shows this Indian team to me has become like a juggernaut. When they bat, you see a very powerful force going through the batting top order, and when they bowl and field, they're looking so much more, intent to win. The intent to win is palpable in everything that the Indian team is doing.
Okay, let me just quickly check if Graham Swan is also with us. I'm not sure if he's through, but we'll try and go across to him as well. Graham, what a performance from the Indian bowlers. We were talking about the big match situation, and when it came to a big match once again, it was Indians on top all the way. What a collapse for the Pakistani middle order today. Okay, we'll go across to Swan in just a bit. But 191, Jimmy Paji, I want to understand from you, you did talk about the technique and you also talked about the fact that the temperament was not there. But it's also, a big match situation. You're playing a World Cup. You certainly do expect a little bit better from a side like Pakistan that has a famed batting lineup. They have great talent. And then, of course, we'll see how well their bowling performs. But actually, the bowling has been a little bit off color. So with 191 on board, do you see there is any way that the Pakistani bowling lineup can in any way put up a fight, or do you think this is going to be easy going for India? Sometimes in a low scoring match it can be a little bit of a problem.
Well, Shivani, is never one-way traffic when India play Pakistan, and so basically, although it's not a big score, but I think the wicket looks good, because when we see the Pakistan inning, then first say 30 odd overs, they are 2 wickets down, and okay, they have not been able to control or put pressure on Indian bowlers. But I think Indian batting is totally different to Pakistan. Pakistan batsmen, they like to hit boundaries. They like to hit sixes. They don't have players like Javed Miandad or Zahir Abad, the old-timers in the team anymore. So these new players, I think they lack a little bit of discipline, and also their I think lack of experience also is showed in this particular game. So, but I think from Indian point of view, credit should be given to Rohit Sharma, the way he handled his bowlers, the fielding, the bowlers, they did their job. Whoever was asked to come and bowl, I think he did pick a wicket at the right time. But I think I give a lot of credit to spinners, because I think they are the one who put a lot of pressure on the Pakistani batsmen. Bumrah has been outstanding, no doubt about it, because he's a different bowler. Probably he's the best in this business. And he has got so much variation, and probably they don't pick him. And the other thing, I think the Pakistani batsmen, they don't play spinners from the hand, which is a very, very crucial thing in batting batsmanship and all that thing. So they play, like with a jor and all that. They like to, just like as if they would do in 20-20 overs, take the leg away from the line and just try to hit and slog. So that, I think, showed their technique was very poor. Coming back to Indian batting, I think there are an experienced lot here. Rohit Sharma, top in the order. Shubham Gill has come back into the side. And they're all stroke players, Virat Kohli and others. They have among the runs. So probably I think there should not be a problem for Indian batting to score these runs.
Karthik, we were talking about that big match mentality at the start of this match, before the start of this match. And it just continues to show that actually there is a gap between India and Pakistan when it comes to that. Because this is very well going to be 8-0 in a World Cup.
Yeah, it's a job half done. I'll always tread with caution here. I know 191 might not be big, but still they've got decent enough bowlers, and you never know who might have a great day, Shivani. So I understand what you're saying. Yes, India boasts a superior record. They've got the bragging rights when it comes to ICC events. But the thing is, I'll still tread with caution. I understand where everyone is coming from. India's confidence is riding high. The batters are doing well. The bowlers have done a great job. They've done an exceptional job. It's now for them to put their feet up, all those 5 bowlers, and hopefully Hardik and the rest would be thinking, we don't bat at all. The kind of form everybody is in, hopefully Shubman coming in, he might be thinking that he has missed out the last couple of games on decent batting surfaces. Not the first one, the second one for sure. And just World Cup, the kind of form he's in the company of Rohit Sharma, they would not want it to go far too deep. So yes, India has got the upper hand, but I'll still, the next 2-3 hours will tell us what's going to happen.
Venki, I want to understand from you, I mean, if you as a bowling side had 191 on board, looking at the Pakistani lineup, their bowling lineup, what is it that is going to be the ideal strategy against a team like India, a batting side like India? Do you still have hope when you get onto the field for the second innings?
Of course, yes, very much. As a bowling side, you're not going to give up at all at any point of time. I mean, if you're defending the target, in this case, it's Pakistan who's defending the target. So 191 can be tricky. So that's where I agree with Murli and Jimmy Paji in this. So the game is not over. It's a job half done. So obviously for Pakistan, if they have to put any sort of a pressure on the Indian batters, they have to pick wickets. They can't be bowling those dot deliveries, or they can't be playing safe. They got to attack. They got to have a slip in place, or maybe at times if they get a quick wicket, they might have to have a couple of slip fielders. They do have some good fast bowlers in them, and they do have a leggy and a left arm spinner as well. So, and it's the pitch is also where I feel it's a two pace sort of a pitch. It's not coming onto the bat to play your shots. So this is where if you get a wicket, there's always an opportunity to get another one. One brings two. That's what we keep talking about. So this is where I think Pakistan needs to have this mindset of attacking and getting the wickets, and not look to bowl the defensive line and length, or have a defensive field set. This is how you can put pressure on the opposition. But then, yes, 191, I think India should sail through pretty easily.
We had a similar situation against Australia when the top order did suffer a setback, but then in a much a bigger chase, India managed it quite comfortably in the end. Do you see any scenario, Ayaz, where India could have trouble if they were to lose a couple of quick wickets against the Pakistani bowling lineup?
On the face of it, no.
Yeah.
Because India has just been so powerful in the batting, and of course in the bowling too. But there are instances. I mean, Jimmy Amarnath is here. 1983 World Cup victory, we defended 183 against the mighty West Indies. In the Rothmans Cup in Sharjah in 1985, I think we bowled Pakistan out for 85, 87, defending 125. These things can happen in sport. I mean, why the cliche goes, glorious uncertainty. Cricket is a gloriously uncertain game. But I think India will have to bat diabolically.
It will have to be really poor.
I mean, either they have to bowl extraordinarily well, luck has to go their way, and we have to bat really badly to lose. And that hasn't, I mean, I haven't seen the Indian team bat as badly or so badly in the last many years.
It's also a matter of the pressure. There is no pressure. There is no scoreboard pressure on you for you to panic. It's in a side that has enormous experience with Virat and KL and Rohit.
And quality and class. I mean, you can get pressure. It happened against Australia 2 for 3.
Yeah.
The pressure was, and then that's where Virat and KL Rahul showed the metal that they are made of. And I think that this is what Pakistan suffered. Their two best batsmen didn't take charge of the match. Yeah. Then they could have maybe got 50-60 runs more. It gets a little more competitive. But if you're just kind of meandering, rotating the strike around, but not giving the scores, not putting pressure on the batsmen, on the bowlers, then when the breakthrough comes, you fall in a heap. Yeah. This is what happened to Pakistan.
Yeah, as you've covered how many World Cups now?
This is my 10th.
10th World Cup for Ayaz. And as we've been saying, it's been 7-0 between India and Pakistan. But your thoughts on the journey of the India-Pakistan rivalry, and this one, I mean, we can safely say maybe that it's going to go India's way as well.
I'll be very surprised. I'll be shocked if it's not the 8th.
Yeah.
But it's been, we've never lost to them. For me, the first one, which we won in 1992, is very significant. Before that, for 5-6 years, we just couldn't beat Pakistan. Javed Miada's last ball 6 of Ketan Sharma had kind of dented the psyche, not just of the fans, but also of India's players. So 5-6 years, and then that to get the monkey off the back, it was a low-scoring match which we won, and since then we've never lost again.
We've never looked back. Jimmy Paji, of course, I do want to ask you what it means to have a record like 8-0 over a period of 20-30 years. I think it has to be one of the biggest and the longest running streaks in any big sports rivalry in any sport. But I will reserve that question for Jimmy Paji and the others for post-match, because we don't want to jinx anything.
Yeah.
Let it become 8-0 and then I'll throw that question to him. For now, I do want you to tell me, I want all of our panelists to tell me their player of the match so far. So Jimmy Paji, why don't you go first? Your player of the first innings and why?
No, I think the match is not yet over. It's not yet finished. I think till the last ball is bowled. I think it's a very unpredictable game. Anything can happen. But looking at the wicket, looking at the Indian strength and the batting and all that thing, and I would think that this should not be a problem, because they did struggle a little bit against Australia, but I think they will not make the same mistake again, because they're all experienced players. And I think coming back to Pakistan bowling, because knowing their temperament and all that, see, I think in the situation like this, they intend to bowl a little bit shorter, a little bit quicker. And if they do that, that will suit Indian batting much more. And this is the wicket. I think the length is the key. You try to strict batsmen, you don't allow them to play freely. Let them take a charge, let them take a bit of risk, then you pick up wickets. So that means you have to keep the ball a little bit up to the guys and let the ball do a bit of a talking. So if they do that with that kind of strategy, you never know, they may pick a few wickets and put a little bit pressure on Indian batting. But what they have in their mind, I don't know, because knowing them very well, I think their temperament, especially their fast bowlers, they intend to do something different. So they don't have quality bowlers like Imran Khan and all those things in the olden days, that they would do magic on their particular day. So let's see how the game progresses over here. As far as this inning is concerned, I think Bumrah has been the player of the inning so far. And so, as I said, the match is not yet over, but I would assume and think that it's an opportunity for India to go 8-0 in this particular game.
Absolutely. The match is not over. Yes, with that rider, we just want to understand who the player of the match so far has been. Venki, why don't you go next? Are you in agreement with Jimmy Paji? Bumrah the man of the innings?
Yeah, definitely yes. I mean, couple of wickets and just for 19 runs with the only maiden over that was bowled in the whole of the innings. That's from Bumrah, and also a catch to boot. Took the catch at mid-off, and he keeps bowling so simple. In the sense like bowling the test match line and length, bowling that off stump and just outside the off stump, the corridor of uncertainty. That's what they call it. That line as, and hitting those good length to just back off length. I think he doesn't do too many things. He doesn't experiment much. Doesn't bowl many or the change of pace or the cross seam. He's more of a seam up bowler, which is terrific. So I think, a crucial wicket of Rizwan as well, who was going strong, and also a century in the previous game. So I think, so far it has been Bumrah, and well supported by the other bowlers as well, Shivani.
Yes, true. He was supported by the other bowlers too, but it's back-to-back great performances from Bumrah and from the entire bowling lineup. Karthik, that bowl of Rizwan was also very special delivery from Bumrah. He has that knack of really surprising the batsmen and really setting them up.
He's always been a complete bowler, hasn't he? Shivani, you just have to doff your hat. I always do that, and I keep saying this to everyone. He's one of those special bowlers who knows exactly what sort of a length to bowl on a certain surface. It's a great skill to have. As a bowler, you can't, and especially as a fast bowler, you can't say this is just my natural length. We all talk about all the variations that he has, the fact that he's got the oddity of that bowling action, which works in his favour, but more so, that cricketing acumen along with the cricketing skill is what sets him apart. Just to be able to change and bowl the kind of speeds which are required for a certain surface, and also bowl the lengths for a specific surface. He's just a special player. But having said that, look, for me, the bowler so far was Siraj. Siraj copped a bit of stick in the last game, even the way he started off. But just to come back with the first wicket and then to get Babar Azam, I think he actually was my standout bowler. I know everyone else chipped in, but to get Babar Azam at that point of time was a big one.
Sure. So we've got Bumrah picked as the player of the innings and Siraj as well. Who are you picking as the player of the innings?
It's a toss-up for me between the two.
Between these two.
Rizwan's wicket was so crucial at that point in time.
And so was Babar's.
Babar and Asad Shafiq.
Yeah.
He got the century in the first match as well as Babar Azam. So I would say, look, he got. Bumrah came back and kind of precipitated a bigger collapse, a deeper collapse. But I think Siraj gave the first breakthrough, and then he got Babar Azam, which was a big breakthrough again later. So for me, it's a toss-up.
So I think it's 2-2, 2 versus 2. 2 of our panelists are selecting Siraj right now, and 2 of them are selecting Bumrah. But it's good to see that the bowlers maybe will have a chance to be the man of the match, the player of the match. Because last time around we did have this discussion that maybe Bumrah deserved the player of the match in the last one as well. But India is going to be really high on confidence. Everything to play for, no worries at all. They just have to keep their head and not do any harakiri as far as this match is concerned, and it's going to be 8-0 for them. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. Remember, we'll be back with our experts right after Indian batting innings as well. So stay with us here on CNN News 18. Thanks a lot for watching for now.